absolutely petrified of public speaking. So the fear of just about anything else boosted my confidence like crazy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Money Mondays. My name is Brandon Burns, and today we're going to tackle the topic of how to be a successful speaker. Now, this is obviously partially for your financial benefit. This is a Money Monday episode, so I do want to dive into a little bit how can we leverage speaking and public speaking, more specifically, to help generate revenue for our business, whether or not you want to make speaking your full-time thing. But I also want to direct this towards people who might just lack a little bit of confidence with public speaking in general, all right? So even if you never want to speak on stage, even if you never want to do your own events, but you are really just interested in becoming a more confident public speaker, period, this is going to be a video that's really going to help you out. And I want to make it super clear that I was the person not that long ago, 3-4 years ago, who was absolutely petrified of public speaking. And when I say absolutely petrified, just to paint the picture for you, I did not order off of the menu at a restaurant by myself until I was probably almost 17 years old, because I was so overwhelmed with social anxiety. When I was 22 years old, as a fifth-year senior at the University of Michigan, I would literally have panic attacks on the first day of class because I would have to stand up in front of 15 of my classmates and say, "Hi, I'm Brandon, I'm studying economics and psychology." That would literally give me panic attacks. Voice was stuttering and shaking, sweaty palms, the whole nine, all right? So a lot of us know that public speaking is the #1 fear worldwide, more so than the fear of heights, more so than fear of rejection, more so than fear of just about anything else. And it makes sense. It is a scary thing, but I'm telling you, there are techniques that you can use to A, become so much more confident in your public speaking, and B, actually leverage that confidence on stage to go and make money and increase your financial situation. So with that being said, there's a couple of techniques that I want to share with you. The first one is what we call ULEs, Universal Learning Experiences. And shout out to Valerie Humphrey, shout out to Eric Thomas, shout out to the whole crew over at ETA, because this is where I actually learned this concept from. But ULEs are experiences that are unique to you. It's your life, so you're never going to forget them, that you can attach a principle to. And they usually come with a story as well. So what I'd like you to do actually right now, while we're watching this video, or while you're watching this video, is write down the top 10 moments of your life. And pause the video if you need to, but write down the top 10 moments of your life. This could be when you had a big victory, when you felt on top of the world, when you overcame a challenge of some sort. The top 10 moments of your life, all right? And then what I want you to do is the exact opposite. I want you to write down the bottom 10 moments of your life, the lowlights. So we got the highlights and the lowlights, 10 of each, all right? And what I want you to do is write out a story that goes with each and every one of those, all right? So what we'll end up with is 20 different stories. And again, you're never going to forget them because it's your life. So 20 different stories, and 10 of them are going to be stories where you're talking about where you overcame some adversity, where you had a big victory, where it was just a highlight of your life. And 10 of those stories are going to be about when you were down bad, right? 10 of those stories are going to be about when you were struggling with it. The last thing that we do with this ULE exercise is we attach 3 different principles to each one of those stories, right? So 3 different morals of the story to each one of those, all right? So as an example, one of my core stories is my gymnastics career. I went to the University of Michigan as a walk-on. I was cut from the team 4 times in 5 years, came back as a coach, 2-time Big Ten championship coach of the same team that I was cut from. So I talk about going from cut to coach. Now, if I want to talk about how hard work never disappears, then that's one way that I can tell that story. If I want to talk about perseverance, then that's another way that I can tell that story. If I want to talk about staying true to your character and your commitments, even under adversity and opposition, that's another slightly different way that I can tell that story. So all 3 of those, it's the same story, but because of the principle, the point that I'm trying to emphasize, I'm going to change the story just slightly, right? Now, what's this going to do for you? If you have 10 good stories, 10, well, I don't want to say good stories, 10 positive stories, 10 negative stories. And then we've got 3 different points or morals or principles that we can attach to each one. That gives us 60 different principles that we can talk about, 60 different topics that we can speak on, and they're all related to our personal story, so we're never going to forget them. And of course, we can throw in a lot of emotional storytelling techniques because we were there, we felt the emotions. We can help people live those experiences through our eyes. We can kind of put them in our point of view when we were having those experiences through the way that we describe and detail those stories, right? Now, what does this do? If you've ever seen a politician talk during a debate or something, it's hilarious because this is exactly what they're doing. Except for them, they're not stories of their personal lives and principles that they're trying to communicate. For them, it's talking points, right? So let's just take an example of if I am a presidential candidate, right? And I am gonna talk about healthcare. That's one of my biggest things. I want to talk about healthcare. And somebody asked me a question about, well, why are you not building schools in Africa? And I'm just making this up right now, right? How come you're not building schools in Africa? Why aren't you doing that? Do you not care about the kids? And I might say something like, well, of course I care about the kids, but as great as it is that there are other charitable foundations that are building schools in Africa, I feel that one of the most important things that we can do to leverage our resources to help the world is with healthcare. So with my plan, that is my own unique patented plan for healthcare, it's going to go exactly like X, Y, and Z, and it's going to help them in ABC ways, right? Now, what just happened there? I took a completely unrelated question, I spun it and wove that narrative into where I wanted to go, what I wanted to talk about. The reason that we do these ULEs is because no matter what somebody asks you to speak about, they want you to speak about confidence, they want you to speak about hard work, they want you to speak about perseverance, right? With 60 different talking points, you can probably weave in whatever somebody wants you to talk about, and you can tell a great story along the way, all right? And that is the recipe for success as a speaker. It's a great story along with a hard-hitting principle. If you got 60 of those things, it's going to be pretty tough for you to be thrown something that you can't weave into one of those 60. And of course, you just build it out from there. That's the 60 that you start with, but you can always add and add and add and add as you continue to gain and collect experiences in your own life. And as you continue to learn and understand more principles, you can just add to that list. So that's the first thing that I want to give you, because that will make you so much more confident when you just know that you're going to be able to find a way to talk about something that you're comfortable talking about, something that you have a story for, something that you've practiced a little bit. It's going to take your confidence through the roof. Now, the next thing is something that I call the Harry Mack method. Now, if you are into YouTube at all, Harry Mack is a YouTube freestyle rapper. He's probably the best out there. He's unreal. The guy's got an alien brain. But I watched a video one time where he was describing how he practiced for his freestyles. And he was saying that he would go to a random word generator and he would just hit the button over and over and over again. And whatever word popped up on the screen, he would have to throw it into a freestyle rap immediately. And he said that got him really, really good at figuring out how to just weave these different words into a rhyme scheme on the fly. And I said, you know what? I want to try that with motivational speaking. Because my biggest fear, especially when I got started, was I was afraid that I would lose my spot along that story that I was trying to tell. I was the kind of person who would script every little thing out before hitting the stage, right? And it turns out that's the worst way to do it. It makes you distracted. You're more concerned about hitting checkpoints in your storyline as opposed to connecting with the audience. So definitely don't script out everything word for word. But this was one of those things that gave me the confidence to not have to feel like I had to script everything out, because I knew that if I got lost, I would be able to figure it out. And so literally I would go to a random word generator, I would hit the button, and whatever popped up on the screen, I would have to talk about it. And I would have to spin it into a story, and I'd have to make it make sense, and I would have to make it motivational in some way, shape, or form. And I would go into it with an audience in mind. So I'd say, okay, maybe this is to a corporate audience, or this is to a athletics audience. And whatever word came up on the screen, I had to use it in my story. And every 60 seconds, new word, new word, new word. And sometimes I would put 10 different words into the same story. And then sometimes I would do a different principle every 60 to 90 seconds, right? And it gave me the confidence to say, wow, no matter what happens, no matter how lost I get, I can literally make something up that is decent. And you won't know that I'm making something up. Just by looking at something in the room and picking out a word or something that I can go off of, And that boosted my confidence like crazy. So it's probably overkill for most people, but if you are like I was and super, super nervous about it, hey, give it a shot, and I promise you it will skyrocket your confidence. The last thing that I'm going to give you is simply reading and writing. Reading books, listening to other motivational speakers, listening to other podcasts, listening to other, not motivational speakers, but speakers in your industry. If you're a business speaker, if you're a leadership speaker, go listen to other speakers that are in your industry, and don't copy their ideas, but take them and make them your own, right? Get inspiration from other people's ideas. Again, read a bunch of books, listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts. And as you get new principles, as you get those light bulb moments in your own life, as you even observe things just as you're going throughout your own life, write them down. Whether you have a notebook, whether you have a note on your phone, any new idea that comes to you that you feel like would be a good topic to speak on, write it down and continue to meditate on that. And that's how you take that initial 60 of the ULEs that we talked about earlier, and you just continue to build on it and make it bigger and better over time. All right. Now, that is how you build your content as a speaker. That's how you become more confident as a speaker. In terms of making money from it, I would say a couple of things, right? Number one, there's really only two ways that you can make money from speaking. It is either A, getting on other people's stages, or B, putting on your own events. If you put on your own events, obviously it's the easiest stage to get on is your own. And in this Zoom world that we live in now, virtually, it's easier than it's ever been to create online virtual events. You can do a 3 or 5 day challenge, pitch something at the very end. Go check out my last Money Monday video on how to sell from stage to learn a little bit more about that. And you can make a ton of money doing that. I mean, Tony Robbins became a billionaire off of the seminar model just like that, all right? And of course, the other way to do it is more of the ET style, which is you get on other people's stages. We've got another Money Mondays video talking about how to get yourself booked as a speaker as well. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in how you can make 5, 10, 15, 20K just in an hour of speaking from stage. But before you even get to any of that stuff, you've got to have the confidence, you've got to have the content, and that is what this video was all about. So I hope that you enjoyed it. If you got value from this video, do me a huge favor and share this with somebody else. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment, all those good things. If you have any questions about this stuff, leave a comment below, and I would be happy to continue the conversation in the comment section. All right. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Check out www.iambburns.com for more, and I will see you on the next episode of Money Mondays. Peace.